All right, guys. Hey, good afternoon, or buenas tardes y buenos dias. Hi, my name is Washington, and I'm speaking to you from the capital of the United States, Washington, D.C. And this topic today is about the Spanish Praxis exam. Some of you are considering becoming Spanish teachers in the United States. I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't matter if you speak Spanish fluently or do not. What's going to happen is this test that is required by all states who accept the Praxis 2 exam. This test is going to test your all over skill set, your interpretive skills. In fact, I'll show you. See, as you see. Anyway, you're going to find the code 5195 is going to be the code that you sign up for. This right here is a practice exam that you can find from their pamphlet at ets.gov. But let's go through this. A lot of people feel like just because they know Spanish, they're going to automatically pass this exam. This is what this test covers. Interpretive listening, 30 selected response, including embedded linguistic content. So basically what you're going to have to do is listen to a lot of conversations between two people or more, or among many people. And you're not going to know where these people are from. They may have conversations in Argentina. They may have conversations from Spain or Costa Rica or Mexico or Guatemala or Cuba, lo que sea. Your job is to understand the conversation. However, the vocabulary that they use is not going to be everyday conversational Spanish vocabulary. This vocabulary is going to test your real content. Do you know synonyms? Do you know antonyms? I don't know if you've ever studied British English. Like if you're an American and you study British English, and you know how British English, when you read Shakespeare or when you read Macbeth, that for Macbeth or Romeo and Juliet, you see vocabulary that you normally would not see. Or if you were to read the novel by Harper Lee, To Kill a Mockingbird, and you see the vast amounts of vocabulary words that you may need a dictionary for. The same thing with this test. If you don't have a grasp of high-tech level or higher order thinking vocabulary, you will not understand this exam, because they will use words and then you have to have to explain that specific word. So this exam, when you answer those questions, it's not going to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, an easy answer that's directly from the reading or from the speaking or from the listening. You literally are going to have to analyze what is being spoken and apply it to those responses. Those responses are not easy to recognize. You cannot do the process of elimination on this exam. You have to know the main idea of that conversation when they are speaking to you. And you only have a couple of seconds to even answer each question. So you have to listen very carefully. All right. The interpretive reading. Now, I'll be honest. In this interpretive reading, it was too much. Too much. You're going to have to read 9 novels. If I were you, before you take this exam, I would read 9 novels. Number 1, Mario Vargas Llosa, Mario Vargas, Vargas, Llosa, Llosa, from Peru, which would be La Ciudad y los Perros. You're going to have to read that novel. Read that novel, and every vocabulary word that you do not understand, you need to write it down, and you need to define that word and find a synonym, find an antonym. You have to spend a lot of time on this. Understand the content. And you need to read Jimenez. You need to read El Cid by Cervantes. You need to read Jorge Borges from Argentina. You need to read some novels from Mexico. And you need to read Jose Marti from Cuba. And just know a lot of those artifacts. All right? Before you begin this reading. And read stuff, subject areas of geology. You need to read biology, read chemistry, read books about psychology, read educational books. Read sociology books in Spanish. Yes, you're going to have to know a lot of that vocabulary in Spanish. Read geology and geography in Spanish as well. And definitely know the geography of Latin America. All right. You have to read all of that because the reading is intensive. Now, with me, I didn't do too well on the reading part because I can fall asleep. I'm not the fastest reader. And on this test, you have to read super fast. So you need to practice reading constantly. I'll be honest. I did not like my score on the reading part. I passed the exam. Yes, I passed it. And that's the most important part. But I'm disappointed in myself because when I was reading, I was just trying to understand every word instead of reading really, really quickly and then understanding the main idea. So I strongly recommend that when you read these questions, that you read the entire passage very quickly. It is intensive, trust me. It is intense. It's not vocabulary that you would normally see from any textbook. You either know this or you do not. And I strongly recommend that you spend time with a lot of educated people from Latin America because you will need that conversational skill or that vocabulary for that, and start just keep reading. Don't go in this exam. Do not take this exam until you prepare yourself because you will not pass. Now, I passed it first time and I loved it, but that's because I prepared myself. Cultural knowledge. Now, I made 100% on the cultural knowledge. This knowledge is not just knowing a couple of books or taking a couple of Spanish courses. To pass this, you're going to have to know about the pyramids in Latin America from Mexico, the Aztec. You're going to have to know about the Guatemalan pyramids all through Central America. You're going to have to understand that in Brazil, they speak Portuguese instead of Spanish. You're going to have to understand certain items in Spanish, like in Argentina, what is the tea called that they drink daily? Mate, te mate. That's what they call it, M-A-T-E. What else? You're going to have to understand a little bit of the mountainous areas and the plateaus, and you're definitely going to have to know the geography of Spain, Latin America, as well as Cuba, Puerto Rico, and La República Dominicana. Know all of the capitals of every country. Know which countries speak Spanish, which ones do not. Know that vos, V-O-S, is used in Central America and certain parts of South America, like Ecuador sometimes will use vos, and sometimes Argentina will use vos, and Paraguay and Uruguay. You got to make sure that you know that Paraguay and Uruguay are also part of that vos. Know which countries align with Brazil and align with Argentina. So you got to know the geography very well. When someone is speaking to you, you have to be able to interpret what is being meant by that specific expression that they use. Like no hay de qué. What does no hay de qué mean? All right, you have to understand that. There are so many cultural details, and they are very detail oriented. They will know whether or not you've either traveled or you really know your content. They're gonna test all that. They're gonna make sure that you have an in-depth knowledge of the real Latin America. Again, do not take this exam unless you are 100% prepared, because this exam is very expensive. It's very expensive. All right. Now, the interpersonal and presentational writing. Grammar. Oh, my word. Grammar. Number one, start reading business letters in Spanish because you're going to need it. Also, go online and find educational letters, like read letters in Spanish that teachers have submitted to parents or administrators have submitted to teachers in Spanish. You know, they got all kinds of samples. You're also going to practice analyzing things, like practice advice giving skills in Spanish written material. So you're going to have to practice giving people advice in Spanish, writing down. Just analyze, giving descriptions. Know how to give descriptions in Spanish. That's going to help you with this writing practice. Presentational and interpersonal speaking. You're not going to have much time to speak. But when you speak, make sure your accent is understandable. All right? You must be understood by anyone or any Spanish speaker, and they're going to analyze. I made 100% on the speaking, and I made 100% on the cultural, and I did pretty well on the listening, and I did pretty well on the writing. The only part where I need growth is that reading comprehension, because I have to read faster. I have to learn how to read faster. And that's the same thing you do when you take the LSAT exam, the law school exam. But I did very well. I did very well. And I'm here to help you. If you need extra help, you can hit me up. Just email me at washingtontharpe@gmail.com. That's Washington, WASHINGTON, Tharpe, THARPE @gmail.com. Or you can contact me some kind of way through this app. Whatever, however you want to contact me, I can help you and walk you through this step. I can practice with you. Of course, I'll charge you a little bit, but I can practice with you so you will pass this exam. Now, here it goes. Listening, cultural knowledge, interpersonal reading, as you see here, interpersonal presentational writing, and presentation and interpersonal speaking. You're going to have to speak on a variety of topics, especially as a teacher. You have to know how to explain your duty as a teacher, what will make a very effective teacher in speaking. So you have to be able to explain that process to them. If you have a problem with certain situations, you have to be able to explain that as well. Watch a lot of movies in Spanish before you take the exam. Read newspapers in other countries because you want to get that new vocabulary because this test has been amplified. Most states, you have to make a 168 in order to pass this exam. It's hard. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say this test is easy. This test is difficult. It's challenging. People think that all you do is speak Spanish, read it and listening. No, you have to really know your content and you have to be able to analyze everything. Just like a psychologist or psychiatrist would, you have to analyze every single aspect of this and interpret just like a doctor would. You have to interpret every process of this. Interpret those novels as well. Anyone would tell you who have passed this exam. All right, so here are some of the, let me see if I can find some of this for you guys. If I can get to the question there. All right, so here's some practice exam. So here's some directions. This is a passage they will read or speak. And for example, let me see if I can read some of this. Let me blow it up some so you guys can see a little bit. Okay, it won't let me blow it up. I have to zoom this way. Give me a minute. Here we go. So for example, this says, let me read quickly. This section is designed to measure how well you understand spoken Spanish and the cultures of Spanish-speaking countries, blah, 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 60 seconds, blah. All right, so let's go here. So this person would say, Buenos días, nació en la Gran Manzana. Criado en Puerto Rico, de vuelta con nosotros, está Lefty Pérez. Hola, ¿qué tal, amigo? El gusto es mío. A eso vamos a ver de nuevo. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás, papi? Bien. Contento de estar aquí una vez más, trayéndote mucha salsa. Oye, mucho tiempo sin verte desde Calle 8. Te veo más delgado, pero estás por todos los lados en canales de televisión promocionando tu nuevo disco, Salseros Unidos, y en muchas presentaciones por Nueva York, Puerto Rico, San Francisco. Cuéntanos. Exactamente, el Carnaval de San Francisco fue un exitazo grandísimo. Como 4,000 personas a quienes les encanta la salsa. De cierta forma estás como retornando tu carrera. Sí, pero yo siempre he estado ocupado, activo, trabajando en otros países y pues este nuevo proyecto que he comenzado es titulado Salseros Unidos. Háblanos de este disco porque no hemos tenido mucho tiempo de hablar de la producción completa. Sí, bueno, esta producción es muy especial para mis Salseros Unidos. Sale de la muerte de un compañero nuestro. Llamo a unificar a las salseros o los salseros del mundo y vengo y les escribo junto con Pedro Jesús. Colaboraron conmigo varios artistas en el video y mencionó la mayoría de ellos en la canción. Hagamos un pequeño flashback del comienzo de su carrera. ¿Qué recuerdas? Bueno, yo comencé a los 13 años oyendo los temas de Héctor Lavoe y los cantaba en el banco escuchando a Cheche Colé, Abuelita, tu refrán me hace reír. Pero lo cantabas igualito. Okay, blah, 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 blah. So they're going to keep speaking to you guys. And you have to understand this. So like, ¿Quién es Salseros Unidos? Una película sobre la música puertorriqueña. Una agrupación de cocineros. Un carnaval en San Francisco. Un proyecto de Lefty Pérez. It's not going to be an answer that's automatic. You have to understand. And listen, según la entrevista cuando empezó a cantar Lefty Pérez, cuando apenas tenía 3 años, a los 13 años cantando en el baño, a los 11 años en radio de Puerto Rico, siendo ya adulto en San Francisco. Okay, so you gotta be able to understand this. And at the bottom of it, this is the hard part. It says, es la palabra exitazo. En el contexto de la frase exactamente, el carnaval de San Francisco fue un exitazo, es sinónimo de what? Éxito muy corto, éxito enorme, decepción general, decepción pequeña. So when they read to you guys, let me come back on screen. When they read to you guys must understand it by interpreting or analyzing what is being said. This right here should get you through most of this test. I will show you how I did here, just so you know that I did pass mine. So here is my exam right here, November 19, 2019. I wanted to take it again. So if you notice here, this is Spanish World Language. Don't forget to put 5195 as the test that you have. Office of State Superintendent of Education right here in Washington, D.C. passed. Maryland Department of Education passed. Tennessee State Department of Education passed. So I passed every single one on one, a 72 over 200. Usually the native speakers will make around 199 to 200. The Americans, the people that don't speak English, Spanish for the first time, will more likely make around here or right here their first time. But I made 172, which is well enough to pass. And this test will last for 10 years. So make sure that you study, okay? And this is all I have. Again, you can reach me. I will try to walk you through every step of the way. I won't charge you much money, don't worry, because I understand you want to be an educator. That's all I have for right now. If you have any other questions, hit me up, all right? Have a wonderful day, okay? Chao, Zinho. Ten un buenísimo día. Bye. All right, let's get out of here.